Welcome to Bennetts BikeSocial. We're here in stunning Wales at Sweetlam Adventure, and we're here with KTM to test their 890R and their standard 890. For 2021, KTM have given us two exciting new models, the 890R and the standard 890 Adventure. This replaces the 790 of old. Essentially, KTM wanted to meet Euro 5, and the easiest way to meet Euro 5 is to increase capacity. And then the advantage of increasing capacity means you get more power and more torque. So we've got an increase of 10 horsepower and a significant increase in torque. And this is at the same RPM as previously, so you don't have to rev the bike any harder. In fact, the torque makes the bike much more usable. Other interesting notifications is that we've had new suspension, the subframe has changed, we've got new electronics, we've got a 6-axis IMU rather than a 5, because 5's never enough. We've got new advanced rider aids. It's a completely new model from the previous model. The only thing that's kind of stayed the same is part of the frame and part of the brakes, but essentially it's a new model. What we've done here in Wales, we've had a full morning off-road on the 890R, and an afternoon on-road on the standard 890. So let's start with the 890R that I've absolutely loved. If you cast your mind back to 10-15 years ago and you rode an adventure bike off-road, the only thing that was stopping you crashing was skill, which I lacked. What the KTM does now, it has unbelievable riding rates and an unbelievable amount of balance that makes you be able to do things that you shouldn't be able to do. So the off-road ABS is outstanding. When you flick into the optional rally mode, you can change the traction on the fly. So if you're coming into a really steep hill, you can turn up the traction, that'll give you some grip. When you're coming downhill or you're on some loose stuff and you want to have fun, turn off the traction, have some sideways fun. It's all accessible and done on the fly. Really enjoyable bike. The R has fully adjustable WP suspension front and rear, as opposed to non-fully adjustable on the standard. You also get a shorter screen. But the wheels are the same on both models. So if you wanted to fit the more off-road biased tyres, which we've got on the R for the school here at Sweetlam, you can do. So essentially, on the R, you're getting a jacked up version of the standard model. You've got more adjustment on the suspension, WP fully adjustable on the front, WP fully adjustable on the rear, and you've got a lower screen, so you can see over the screen, you can see the front wheel, rather than the big touring screen on the standard model. The bike just lets you get away with stuff off-road that you really shouldn't. It's a hugely impressive bike, and I've had such a fun day here at Sweetlam. The bike is 11,999 for the R, and it's 10,999 for the standard, which is actually less than the old 790, which makes it a little bit of a bargain. If we move on to the standard model, which we've rode on the roads here in Wales, really impressive bike. The few little niggles come up on this bike that you don't get on this one. For example, the KTM brakes I thought lacked a little bit of bite. And the switch gear, it's not as intuitive as it is on the new 1290S or the new 1290R Super Adventure. It's a little bit harder to navigate than what I'm used to. But it is the same switch gear on the R, but when you're riding off-road, you don't really have time to look down and play with stuff, where when you're riding on the road, you've got time to play with the cruise control and all the rider aids. As I said, the brakes off-road are outstanding, but when you ride it on-road and you're doing, slightly illegal speeds and you're braking heavy, they do feel a little bit wooden. But aside from that, it's pretty hard to follow. It's a middleweight bike with over 100 horsepower that is usable, fun, easy to ride, great electronics. I think it looks good. And essentially, if you want to take it off-road, just fit these tyres because the wheels are exactly the same. Your disadvantage is you've not got the adjustment on the suspension and you've not got the ground clearance. But for most riders, this will actually do off-road. But if it was my choice, I'd go for the R. I like the stance, I like the looks, I like the big prowess, I love it off-road. I can't quite touch the floor, but I can on this one with the low seat. The seat is adjustable, and on its lowest setting, I can touch the floor, where on the lowest seat on the R, I'm just a little bit off. But because the weight is really low with a twin fuel tank, all the weight feels further forward and feels lower, so it's not intimidating like some adventure bikes off-road. Hugely enjoyable day. If you get the opportunity, come down to Sweetland. You can try both these bikes. I'm dying for another go at this. The sun's not gone down yet, so hopefully Molly and the guys will let me have another play.